Hello everybody, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. I've got another 40k Tactics video for you guys today talking about the Mech army. These are armies who require or use lots of vehicles to conduct their games and can generally front up a very powerful armoured assault that can get up in your face quickly and be really good at killing most things using transports or battle tanks. One of the best armies for this is the Imperial Guard, so I'll keep referring back to those, but there are others that can do it. Space Marines can muster up a fair few tanks, as can Chaos and other forces. So what comprises a mech army or a mechanical army? Minimal infantry, all in transport vehicles, HQs in transport vehicles or flyers, and then everything else that they can fit in is tanks. So going back to Guard, I would put a company command squad in a Chimera, a couple of veteran squads in a Chimera, and then run Hellhounds, Flyers, Russes, Artillery. Excuse me. Russes, Artillery, Hellhounds, etc. to the exclusion of all else. And this army will be nigh on impervious to... Well, this army particularly will be immune to anything that is strength 4 or less, because at strength 5 you can start hurting side armour properly, and strength 6 you can start hurting front armour. Other armies require can only run front up armour 11, e.g. Space Marines. The Rhinos are only armour 11, whereas Chimeras are armour 12 at the front. So this army can take out most infantry from the game. It can basically say, oh, you've got a bolt gun, or you have a las gun. Sorry, can't use that, it won't hurt my tank. Great. All the while I'm going to be driving up and killing you and you can't touch me back. Ha ha, bad luck. It's really good at neutralising that. Of course, anti-tank weapons become super useful and must be destroyed as quickly as possible. So, when you're running a mech army, remember that you are not going to have that many units on the board. Tanks are expensive these days. Even your basic transports are 40, 50 points, maybe more. I'm not sure about Devilfishes and Wave Serpents. Your battle tanks are going to be coming in 100 to 200 points. Your really big tanks over 200 points, for example, the Land Raider or the Defiler. So you really do have a problem of models on the ground, thus meaning you can be run around the board. So good things to have are anti-infantry guns en masse. So heavy bolters or shuriken cannons or pulse weapons, whatever your anti-infantry guns are, bring a fair few. Flamers just as much, because flamer weapons can kill units that are hiding in cover. Sitting on an objective in cover, you can just say, no you don't, burn, die, job done, easy peasy. So you have to make sure that you can deal with the infantry. Also bear in mind that most tanks that your opponent will bring, because he or she won't bring all that many, will probably be for tank hunting in this game. Walkers particularly. So you're going to need anti-tank weapons. So you also need to make a balanced army in terms of firepower out of just tanks. It's not as easy as you might think, because most transport tanks pack anti-infantry guns, most battle tanks pack anti-everything guns, odd ones pack anti-tank guns. Again, going back to my Guard, the Lehman Russ battle cannon is strength 8 AP3 large blast. It can hurt all infantry and kill pretty much anything it hits and threaten a tank. A Lehman Russ Vanquisher packs a single shot version of this, AP2. So there are lots of different varieties of doing this, but remember, obviously, your points are going to stack up very, 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 very fast, and that's problematic for you. Remember, if you're playing objective games, of course, you need to make sure you can secure as many objectives as possible. If you're playing Scouring or Big Guns Never Tire, you may get a little bit of luck, because it will make your fast attack vehicles or heavy support vehicles troop choices. That's meaning they can claim objectives as well as your troops. So make sure you have enough in both sections, just in case that comes up, but make sure you have enough troops. So yes, I don't advise taking a 20-man squad of X and putting it on the board and saying, fine, I'm not going to put this in transport, it'll be fine. But I would advise splitting it into 2 tens, putting them in transports and saying, right, you guys go get some objectives. Do this 2 or 3 times. So like Guard platoons, mount them in Chimeras. You've got there 5 squads that can go and claim, 6 squads that can claim objectives in your 2 troop choices. Veterans less so, and Marines, obviously you need 2 or 3 tactical squads, scout squad, possibly with a land speeder storm for speed, Chaos would have to bring enough rhinos. Tau bring enough devilfishes. Eldar bringing wave serpents. Or that's quite a common tactic anyway for Eldar to bring wave serpents. That's another thing. In terms of tackling the mech army, because it can be quite intimidating to see your opponent put down a wall of battle tanks and thinking, oh my god, my guns are no good against this. Because there are a lot of guns that obviously aren't. Anything of strength 4 can't hurt anything that isn't armor 10. Anything that's strength 6 can only hurt armor 12 on a glance. And the problem only multiplies if your opponent's bringing less tanks that are more expensive. It becomes even worse because only your powerful guns can do damage. So, in terms of tackling them, your reserves can win you the game. Outflanking and deep striking units need to be equipped with anti-tank weaponry. So, for example, Space Marine Wolf Scouts can walk on any board edge, give them a melter gun, that tank that they just walked on right next to may as well disappear. Failing that, of course, they'll just be there, they'll be a nuisance, they'll pick up line breaker. They might, actually no, Wolf Scouts aren't troops, but regular scouts can sneak on, claim objective, done. Easy peasy. Imperial Guard Stormtroopers, same thing. Howling Banshees, no, not Howling Banshees, Swooping Hawks, come in, Haywire Grenades, tank dead, and all sorts of other things. So make sure you choose your reserve units carefully and equip them appropriately. So it's no good against a mechanical army bringing, let me think, Tau Crisis suits with twin flamers. That's not going to hurt a tank no matter how hard it tries. Yes, if you can kill the tank with something else, you'll burn the infantry to cinder, so don't neglect that, but you aren't going to be able to kill the tanks, and that's what you've got to be able to do. It's quite easy to pick up First Blood against the mechanical army, because vehicles can be destroyed in a single shot, whereas most infantry units cannot. So, look for First Blood, look for Line Breaker. And against mechanical armies, the Walker, which is a type of vehicle, is in its element. Most Walkers can pack anti-tank guns, and can, in some cases, pack power fists or dreadnought class combat weapons. If you can get these anywhere near a tank, boom, that tank may as well call itself history. Because either you're going to shoot it with a melter weapon or a las cannon or equivalent, or you're going to melee it with a power fist and wreck it because it can't hurt you back. At which point, if there's passengers, those passengers will get out and you can kill them as well in melee with your powerful weapon and lock that unit down and stop them claiming objectives. Drop pods, if you have, in Marines' case, are a good Alpha Strike delivery unit for this, although obviously Imperial Guard Sentinels can outflank, so can Eldar War Walkers, and all the other walking units can get around quite easily using reserves, flyers if you're a Storm Raven player, outflank, possibly deep strike. They can all be a real nuisance. So this is the best time to bring walkers. Obviously you can't predict what your opponent is going to bring. You can't think, you're not psychic, and nobody's psychic as far as I'm aware. It'd be really cool if people were, that's another thing. But you can't look ahead into the future and think, okay, what is my opponent bringing? He is bringing lots of tanks. Therefore, I need to bring all my anti-tank units. It doesn't quite work like that. You've got to bring an army, obviously, that can deal with infantry and deal with tanks. Because even if you bring a total anti-tank list, there's still going to be infantry in that list to make up the troop section. I don't think there is an army that can run an entire vehicle army yet. So, don't think you can. Bring a bit of everything, anti-infantry guns to deal with the troops when you can kill them. But if you have a funny feeling that you're going to be facing anti-tanks, then bring a high number of anti-tank guns because that's just what you'd expect. So, in summary then, just because I know when I start talking that I can make a point, then remake the point, then forget a point I was going to make, and I'm really useless at doing that. So, to recap, using the vehicle mech army. Using it, you need board control. You're going to struggle with this, so you need to make sure you have enough infantry in your transports to get around. You also need to pack anti-infantry guns to deal with, and flamers to deal with sneaky infantry on objectives. You're also going to hopefully try and get some rapid response units. Flyers are good for this, or fast vehicles who can get around and whiz back to your deployment zone and kill things going for line breaker. Because that's what they'll try and do. They'll try and get around the back of you and get line breaker. Even if your tank wall is up there, if they can just put one unit back here, trouble. In terms of combating it, try and bring as many anti-tank guns as you can, but you can't predict this. If you have reserve units anyway, try and give them anti-tank weaponry, which is something you really expect to do anyway, because most reserve units are there to kill sneaky tanks at the back of the board or claim objectives at the back of the board. So outfit them as such. Flyers are actually quite good against anti-tank because most tanks can't hurt a flyer. There are obviously those who have Skyfire, which is designed to do the Space Marine Stalker, the Imperial Guard Hydra, and so on, and other flyers, of course. But most tanks don't have much against flyers. Most will pack a blast gun, which can't touch flyers, and most don't pack enough shots to harm the flyer. So if you can bring a flyer in up here and just think, right, tank dead, or drop off infantry on the last turn, whatever floats your boat, really. God, did I use that phrase? Never mind. So think flyers, think reserves, think board control. You can run a tank army ragged, particularly if you've got a few fast units who can play harassment, come around, shoot the back of them, try and kill them, harass the passengers, etc, etc. So bear all that in mind. I know it's not comprehensive. I know I'm probably forgotten something or said something 6 times. But thank you for sticking with me if you're still here at the end, which I'd gladly appreciate if you were. Be sure to leave any opinions and comments or advice in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. If you know anybody who's interested in the hobby and perhaps maybe doesn't know where to start, then be sure to tell them about the channel. I'm sure I can try and help them in some way if they'd just let me know. So thank you for watching. I'll probably have the Space Marine analysis up by now. If not, then it will be up on Friday. I'm probably going to do another tactics looking at, not sure, probably something to do with Psychers or with Monstrous Creatures. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching. My name is Michael, and I will see you again.